Philanthropist Advocate Mthetheleli Ngumbela is being laid to rest in near Beaufort West today. Ngumbela, who died from his injuries sustained in a car crash on the N2 between Butterworth and Dutywa on Wednesday last week, has been awarded a special provincial official funeral category 2. Let's get the very latest and bring in reporter Abongile Jantjies. He's covering the story for us. Tell us more, sir, about this philanthropist. Abongile Jantjies, you live for us on the agenda. I just want to learn more about the philanthropist who's being laid to rest today.
Well, Blaney, indeed, he was a philanthropist. Here at the funeral, people were speaker after speaker were describing what a gentleman he was in giving back to rural communities, particularly in the sports sector. He held a number of events out of his own pocket to uplift rural sports, particularly for those who are disadvantaged. His family, Blaine, says that they are still coming to terms with his death, especially his wife, who was with him during that tragic accident on that day. They say that it will take a while for them to move on from this tragedy. Even though today is the funeral, for them the mourning period starts now, and that it will be quite difficult. He leaves behind 2 wives, of which and 15 children, and a number of grandchildren, Blaine. Well, as we speak now, the MEC for Education, Fundile Gada, is delivering the eulogy on behalf of Eastern Cape Premier Oscar Mabuyane. With me, I do have one of the businessmen who is from Dutywa, where Mr. Ngumbela applied his trade as Ngobo. A very good day to you, sir. You also apply your trade in Dutywa. What have you learned from Tato Ngumbela?
I think one thing that we can always remember him by is that not even the big corporates have spent as much money as this old man spent in the development of especially rural people, not just in sports, but in life generally. He has built more than a dozen churches across the different denominations. He has supported various sporting codes. He has supported in particular the street hawkers who bought fruit and veggies from his shop for many years. He has been part of their lives. He would spend time with them on the streets, try to understand their business, help them to improve. So I think what we have learned from him is that you do not become poorer by spending your profits with the disadvantaged people, especially those that support your business.
Dutywa, where his businesses were, is quite a small town, largely rural. He also invested in that town. What do you think could be done in honor of Tato Ngumbela within that town?
Well, I think as the people after whom we take, following in his footsteps in business, we've got to sustain the legacy projects that he left behind. He developed lately a keen interest to support horse racing in the rural areas. It's one of the legacy projects that we need to make a commitment to sustaining. There are a number of teams in football, in cricket, netball that he has been supporting. So we have our own contributions that we make annually, but I think we now have to dig deeper in our own pockets, because somehow we've been lagging in that regard, because we knew that he was always there to support, but now all of us, even as we are trying to build our businesses, we need to pick up the cudgels and forge forward with his legacy projects.
There are calls for the main street in Dutywa to be named after Tato Mthetheleli Ngumbela. Do you support that call?
Well, if it were for us, we would ask every street to be named after him. But obviously, the main street is the main arterial road that goes through the town. It's part of the national road network. And if we go through the formal processes with the Geographical Names Council and have that street named after him, it would be a befitting honor indeed.
On the sporting front, where he was known from, particularly cricket, the stadium that we are in now, where he built it from his own pocket, he has passed on now. How do we ensure that legacy lives on to produce the next Makayantini, the next Monde Zondegi, and other sporting codes as well?
I think in conversation with his children, with his family, there is a strong appetite to make sure that his legacy projects do not die. I know that he has a registered foundation. I do hope that the family, despite him not being physically present, will continue to pump the needed resources to make sure that none of his legacy projects die with him. We're very hopeful also that government will take a central role together with the sports confederations, the Cricket South Africa and the South African Football Association will come on board and make sure that this old man who has done extraordinary things for our people does not turn in his grave because the things that he has built become dilapidated, unkempt, and his legacy projects die.
I thank you so much for your time. All the best going forward. Well, Blaine, that was Ace Ngobo, a former PSL referee who hails from the town of Dutywa here in the Eastern Cape, where Adv Ngumbela had businesses and where he also had a home there, Blaine.
Loss not only to his family but the community at large. Thank you very much indeed for enlightening us about the man that has done so much for that community. Abongile Jantjies live for us there. Thank you. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back.